What if I told you that having no friends could be your greatest advantage? That the people who seem alone are often the strongest, wisest, and most unstoppable. In this video, you'll discover 10 powerful truths about why solitude can make you stronger, sharper, and more in control of your life, all inspired by the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophers. Number 1. You refuse to settle for mediocrity. Seneca once said, "Hang out with people who are likely to make you better." He knew that the people we spend time with have a direct effect on our character. If the people you spend time with are lazy, aimless, and self-indulgent, you could end up being like them, no matter how strong your will is. The human mind is easily influenced, and mediocrity spreads quickly, like fire in dry grass. It eats away at you without you even realizing it, until you realize you're not living up to your potential. So, if you don't have friends, it might not be because you can't make friends. It can be because you don't want to settle for less than the best. You don't feel like you need to be around people that drain you instead of sharpen you anymore. There are a lot of people in the world who are okay with staying the same, never questioning their ideas, and wasting their time on distractions. If you sit with them, you are quietly agreeing to adopt their habits. Marcus Aurelius said this when he said, "The things you think about shape your mind. Your ideas change the color of your soul." Now take that logic a step further. The individuals you let into your life shape the thoughts that take over your head. If the people you talk to are often gossiping, being envious, and being small-minded, your soul will start to look like theirs. If they are lazy, greedy, or scared, their behavior will affect you, slowly changing your character in a way that makes you weaker. That's why the Stoics taught people to be careful when picking friends. Epictetus said, "If you want to get better, be okay with being seen as foolish and stupid when it comes to outside things." In other words, if people think you're lonely or strange because you don't fit in, that's okay. It's better to go alone with integrity than to be with companions who quietly ruin your spirit. It might be expensive to refuse to be average. It could suggest that your phone is quiet more often. It implies you might spend nights alone instead of in rooms full of laughter. People might think you're cold, aloof, or hard to deal with. But this is the same road that great thinkers, soldiers, and leaders have taken throughout history. They knew that making progress means giving up something, and one of the hardest things to give up is being comfortable with regular people. If you were training to be a soldier, would you practice with people who don't follow the rules, who make fun of endurance, and who make fun of resilience? Or would you rather practice with people who challenge you to go further than you thought possible, test your strength, and sharpen your blade? Friendship should work the same way. It should be a place where things are tested, not a place where they are born. It should start a fire, not put it out. So not having friends doesn't always mean you're empty. It might mean you have high standards. You have decided to save your energy instead of wasting it. You opted to protect your ideals instead of watering them down. And by doing this, you make sure that when real friendship comes into your life, it will be based on respect, growth, and strength between you. It's not a failure to walk alone. It's a sign of someone that won't be happy with anything less than what they can become. And in that solitude, you are making something more important than being popular. You are making character. Number 2, you value your time too much. Marcus Aurelius told himself, "Don't waste the rest of your life thinking about other people if you don't have a reason to." He knew that we can't get back time. Once you spend it, it's gone for good. And yet, many give it away without thinking, to meaningless conversations, shallow duties, and individuals who don't really care about them. If you don't have any friends, it's likely because you've come to the conclusion that your time is too valuable to waste on things that don't matter. If we're being honest, most friendships are based on nothing more than habit and ease. They are mostly about gossip, complaints, and fun. They don't often challenge you to be disciplined, wise, or in charge of yourself. And that's why you chose differently. You decide to protect your time like gold. Seneca was very strict about protecting time. In his article on the shortness of life, he stated, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." He saw that individuals are careful with their money, treating each cent as if it were sacred, but they don't think twice about giving away their time. They will let anyone bother, divert, or take up their time, even though their time is worth more than any amount of money. Not having friends that waste your time is not a loss. It is a gain. Think about how most people talk to each other. A message comes in, telling you to go out, not for anything important, but to speak about nothing, drink cocktails that make you feel dumb, and have talks that go on and on and on. You spend hours away from home, and when you get back, you're not stronger, wiser, or closer to your goal. You gave up a part of your life for nothing. How many times does this have to happen before you realize that you're being stolen from? Epictetus told his students not to spend too much time with those who weren't disciplined. He added, "If you spend time with people like that, you will inevitably pick up their bad habits." He said it was like going into a room that was full of smoke. No matter how short your stay, you can't help but smell it. It's the same with spending time with those who waste their time. So, not having friends could signify that you have broken away from this pattern. You don't think of being alone as a problem anymore. You think of it as freedom. You may now spend every moment that isn't spent with shallow people on your craft, your physique, your intellect, and your purpose. You can read, study, build, and grow without stopping. You can choose to be quiet instead of loud, and to be disciplined instead of distracted. Of course, this isn't an easy choice. People might call you arrogant, antisocial, or think you are better than everyone else, but the truth is easier. You know how much your time is worth, and you don't want to sell them for cheap. You don't mind being alone since you know how to handle it. Not having friends is not a hole. It is space that has been taken back. It is the quiet time when people read books, learn new things, and make plans. It is the basis for a future that is not shaped by what other people want, but by the strength of your own decisions. And when that time comes, you won't look back with regret, but with the peaceful contentment of someone who lived on purpose and didn't waste the gift that could never be returned. Number 3, you're building inner strength. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not in charge of himself." These words get to the heart of what being alone really teaches. When the noise of your friends goes away and you are left with only yourself, you have to answer the most important question. Can you handle your own weight? Can you get up in the morning without someone telling you to? Can you handle suffering, disappointment, or bad times without relying on someone else's words to soothe you? At first, not having friends may appear like a weakness, but really it's a furnace. It makes you make yourself stronger. You learn to face your worries head on without needing continual reassurance or anything to keep you busy. When you panic, you learn how to calm your breathing. When your thoughts get out of control, you learn how to control them. And when your heart hurts, you learn how to comfort it. To put it simply, you learn how to be your own anchor. Seneca often told his audience that hard times are not bad, rather they are a chance to learn. He said, "Difficulties make the mind stronger, just like work makes the body stronger." Without friends, you have to deal with problems on your own, which is terrible, but makes you stronger. Every problem is a chance to learn. Every challenge you face alone shows that you are strong and won't give up quickly. You grow the calm strength that others wish they had, but don't always understand. Marcus Aurelius lived this principle to the fullest. He was the most powerful person in Rome, but he often felt very alone. He couldn't trust many people because he was surrounded by those who wanted to take advantage of him. And so he wrote in his meditations to himself, which helped him think more clearly. You have control over your mind, not things that happen outside of it. If you understand this, you will discover strength. He didn't write these lines for anyone else. He wrote them to keep himself stable while he was alone. When you don't have any pals, you have to train with the same people. You learn how much weight you can handle on your own when you don't have somebody to lean on. It feels like it will never end at first, but you start to develop a rhythm. You learn that power isn't always loud. It doesn't constantly growl or flex. Real strength is quiet. It's the deep breath you take before making a tough choice. When life rattles the ground beneath you, it's the steady hand that holds the line. This inner strength is not just about staying alive. It is also about becoming free. Epictetus remarked, "Freedom is the right to live how we want." You must be free from reliance, though, in order to live how you want. If you can't be at peace when someone leaves your side, you're not free. You're tied to other people. Being alone teaches you how to break that chain. It shows you that you can handle hunger, sadness, failure, and not knowing what would happen next. And once you learn to control yourself in this way, you can't be shaken. You don't dread being left behind anymore since you know you can handle it. You cease being afraid of being alone because it doesn't seem empty anymore. It feels like training. You don't need people when they come into your life. You select them because you are strong, not because you are weak. So, not having friends doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're getting stronger in a way that can't be borrowed. You are becoming into the kind of person who not only survives alone, but also does well in the calm forge of isolation. Number 4, you see through illusions. Friendship seems easy at first. It all seems real, smiles, laughter, and promises of loyalty. But beyond that veneer lurks a truth that few people are willing to face. Many friendships are not based on virtue, but on convenience. They only last as long as things are easy. The people around you shift when the winds change. Seneca wrote letters to warn people about this fallacy. He said that individuals often mix up closeness with love and loyalty with mutual benefit. Someone could sit at your table, drink your wine, and call you friend, but when times become tough, they leave. Seneca said, when a man's situation changes, so does his circle. If you don't have any pals, it could signify that you've started to see through this act. Epictetus also warned against trusting friends too much. He told his students that the real test of any relationship isn't when things are going well, but when they're hard. He stated that a friend of fortune is like a shadow, always there when the sun is shining, but gone when it gets dark. You might not have pals because you've realized you don't want shadows. You need anchoring. You want ties that are strong because of virtue, not because they are easy. This knowledge, even while it hurts, is freeing. It distracts you from the greater pain of betrayal. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius said, "It is a privilege of man to love even those who stumble." He told us to be kind even to people who let us down. But he also told himself not to rely on them. Seeing through the lies of friendship doesn't make you bitter, it makes you smarter. You cease expecting those who are just there for a short time to stay. You cease thinking that courteous words mean unbreakable loyalty. Think about how many people have friends that are only there for the good times. They think that being there means being faithful, that loudness means being connected, and that being with someone means loving them. Then, when storms come, they don't know what to do since it's so quiet. You, on the other hand, prevent this destruction by seeing through the deception early. You stroll with your eyes open because you would rather be alone than feel safe when you're not. and this option has power in it. The Stoics thought that being able to take care of yourself was an important part of being virtuous. Building your existence on shifting sand means relying on phony friends for your feeling of value. To let them go, even if it means being alone, is to stand on solid ground. It may hurt at first to not have any friends. You may start to doubt yourself and wonder if something is wrong with you. But as time goes on, you realize that it's not a deficit, but a filter. The illusions are gone, the shadows are gone, and even if there are fewer people left, or maybe none, you are safer, stronger, and freer than those who live in a world of masks. The fact is that it is better to be alone in the truth than to be surrounded by lies. And because you don't have any friends, you may have already done what most people will never do: had the bravery to confront the truth without hiding it. Number 5, you're not afraid of silence. Marcus Aurelius often told himself that the soul is the safest place to be. Man cannot find a more peaceful or untroubled place to rest than in his own soul. It wasn't easy or comfortable to write these words. A man who had to deal with the weight of an empire and a lot of voices, demands, and expectations wrote them. But he knew that real serenity is never found outside. It has to be grown inside. If you don't have pals, you can't be quiet. It's all around you. It can feel like a jail at first. The calm pounds against your ears, and the lack of noise feels wrong, even painful. A lot of people run away from the stillness and fill it with music, talking, or anything else that keeps them from thinking about what's going on in their heads. But if you fight that inclination and stay in silence for long enough, it changes. Silence turns into a mirror. It shows you how messy your mind is. Every wound that hasn't healed, every notion that hasn't been thought through, and every fear that hasn't been faced comes to the surface. This is why most people drown themselves in noise. They're scared of what they could find inside. But you change when you face quiet. You start to get that turmoil under control. You start to put your thoughts in order, control your feelings, and hear the voice of reason that gets stronger when the world is quiet. Seneca often talked about how important it is to spend time alone. He remarked in On the Shortness of Life, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." And you have to think about what you've learned. For reflection, you need peace and quiet. If you are always surrounded by noise, you are not really living, you are just reacting. Silence offers you the time to think about what you want to do. Epictetus told his students that philosophy isn't just about talking about things, it's also about doing things. Silence is where practice starts. You learn to be patient while you're alone. You learn to pay attention to your thoughts without acting on them right away. Instead of running away from it, you learn to sit with it. And by doing this, you get stronger in a way that no crowd could ever give you. Not being afraid of silence is a rare ability. It means you don't need to be told you're right all the time. You don't need to talk to feel alive. You don't need other people to fill the space around you. You have learned to locate friends in your own head instead. And this shows how strong you are. You carry that serenity with you wherever when you can sit in stillness and feel it. You are no longer afraid of being alone since you have made it your friend. You don't need noise anymore since you have found peace in silence. And when the world eventually throws havoc at you, you have a safe place inside that no one can touch. Most individuals run away from stillness because they can't stop themselves from being distracted. You show that you aren't afraid of yourself by accepting it, and that is how true freedom begins. Number 6, you are focused on purpose. Epictetus once stated, "Write if you want to be a writer." He didn't make any justifications. In its most basic form, purpose requires action. It doesn't need anyone else to say yes, agree, or be there. You might not have friends because you don't deserve them, But it could also be because you've chosen to follow a different route, one where diversions and pointless conversation don't belong. Most individuals make their life revolve around social activities and the short-lived comfort of being part of a group. They spend hours gossiping, trying to get attention, or getting lost in amusement because they are afraid of missing out. But those who live with purpose recognize that these things take away time, which is our most valuable resource. Marcus Aurelius told himself, "Don't act like you have 10,000 years to waste." Death is right next to you. While you live, do something good. You can do it. If you want to live with urgency and truly commit to what counts, you can't spend your life on shallow friendships. Think about Marcus himself. He was the emperor of Rome and had a lot of responsibilities, but his legacy isn't in the parties he went to or the relationships he made. It's in his writings, meditations, and reflections that still guide us almost 2,000 years later. He was great because he was dedicated to his objective, not because people liked him. Seneca also talked about this issue when he said, "It's not that we don't have a lot of time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Every minute you spend with people who don't matter takes away from your growth, discipline, and mission. If you're strolling alone, it might be because you've recognized that the laughing of the crowd isn't worth the cost of your future. This doesn't mean that friendship isn't important in a life with a purpose. The Stoics thought highly of true friends, people who make you better, like iron sharpens iron. But pals like that are hard to find. And until you meet them, being alone becomes a place where your vision takes shape. Not having pals isn't a void, it's a place made for something better. So you know better than to think that being alone is a sign of weakness. You are getting stronger, more disciplined, and clearer in your mind when you are alone. Yes, the person who gives up superficial companionship for the sake of purpose walks a narrow route, but that road is the one that leads to greatness. And in the end, meaning will give you something much better than popularity, a life that mattered. Number 7. You understand the rarity of true friendship. Seneca said, "One of the best things about true friendship is that you understand each other." He extolled the beauty of friendship, but he also knew that it was rare. It is nearly a miracle to discover someone who really sees you, respects your silence, understands your challenges, and celebrates your growth without being jealous. Not having friends in your life doesn't always mean you're a failure. It might also mean you're smart. You have decided not to accept fake bonds. The Stoics never praised superficial relationships. Epictetus cautioned against associating with individuals who undermine our integrity. He said that a partnership isn't worth keeping if it doesn't help you live by reason and ethics. Real friendship isn't about how many friends you have, it's about how deep the bond is. One loyal buddy is better than 100 friends who are just there for you when you need them. Marcus Aurelius lived with senators, soldiers, and people who praised him, but you can see from his writing that he was alone. He realized that not many people could follow him on the path of discipline and decency. He even told himself, "Stop arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." There is a hidden truth in those words. Instead of looking for infinite companionship, focus on being the kind of person who deserves real friendship. When you don't have any friends, it usually implies you've realized that most individuals are just pals because of their circumstances. They are there when the sun is shining, but they go away when the storms come. Seneca made this distinction when he talked about friends of utility and friends of virtue. There are a lot of the first kind, but not many of the second kind. However, the second kind is what really makes life better. You aren't turning down companionship by strolling alone. You're guarding your spirit from betrayal, envy, and disappointment. You are waiting, whether you know it or not, for that uncommon connection that is based on honesty, respect, and growth for both of you. And until that relationship comes along, you stand tall by yourself, because you know that it's better to walk alone with integrity than to be among a lot of people and feel empty within. It's not loneliness, it's patience that comes with not having companions. It's smart. It's not drinking from a poisoned well only to get your thirst quenched. People who wait for real friendship recognize its worth better than anybody else when they finally get it. Number 8. You've learned emotional independence. Epictetus told his students not to base their happiness on things or people they can't control. He told them, it's not what happens to you that matters, it's how you react to it. If you don't have friends, it usually implies you've really taken this idea to heart. You don't need other people to prove your existence or make you feel better. You've learned how to make your own happiness, peace, and stability. Most people can't take being alone because they need other people to feel good about themselves. They need compliments, attention, and frequent social engagement to be alive. They feel empty, restless, or anxious without it. But when you learn to be emotionally independent, being alone becomes a choice instead than a whole. You are no longer a leaf that blows in the wind or is affected by the moods of others. You are strong and entrenched in your own mind and spirit. Marcus Aurelius himself did this quite strictly. He thought on how relationships don't last and how pointless it is to try to get people to like you in meditations. Don't choose to be hurt, and you won't feel hurt. Don't feel hurt because you haven't been, he wrote. This knowledge indicates that being emotionally self-sufficient doesn't mean being frigid. It means being in control. You can avoid disappointment and mental turmoil by not relying on others to make you happy. Seneca also said that being able to rely on yourself is important for a peaceful life. He is most powerful who has power over himself, he wrote. The highest level of self-control is emotional independence. Your happiness becomes unbreakable when you stop letting other people's approval, attention, or presence affect your mood. You don't have to worry about gossip, comparing yourself to others, or short-lived praise anymore. People who are used to being connected all the time may find this independence scary. People who need others to feel entire can think you are cold, distant, or detached. But in truth, you have only found a strength that they haven't found yet. Your mind and heart are like a fortress that stays peaceful and concentrated no matter who comes or goes. So, not having friends is not a bad thing. It is a test of emotional independence. It teaches you to depend on yourself, to make yourself happy, and to deal with life's problems without getting upset by other people. And when you do meet individuals who are worth your time and energy, you can connect with them from a place of strength, not neediness. This is a completely other kind of connection that most people never have. Number 9. You're creating space for the right people. Marcus Aurelius said to himself, "The soul takes on the color of its thoughts." This idea goes beyond only our ideas. It also pertains to the people we hang out with. You might not have any friends right now because you've purposefully or unconsciously gotten rid of the shallow, distracting, or draining connections in your life. You've made place for people who share your values, push you to grow, and make your life better. Seneca said that a lot of what people call friendships are just convenient. People stick around when things are easy, when they're having fun, or when they can make money. But when things get hard, they leave. By letting these shallow relationships fade, you are not shutting yourself off from life. You are making room for realness. The Stoics thought that true companions were hard to find. They are not defined by how close they are to each other, but by their morality. They assist you make sure that what you do makes sense, that what you think is wise, and that your life has meaning. Epictetus advised that you should choose your meaningful partnerships carefully. He told them to Hang out with people who make you better. Shallow friendships may make you feel better for a short time, but they won't help you grow. So, being alone is a vital step. It makes a space where the unworthy can't stay and lets the proper people, those who share your beliefs, understand your path, and challenge your character, come in when the time is right. This technique could make you feel uneasy. Letting rid of people you know, even if they don't bring much to your life, can make you feel guilty, lonely, or unsure. But this pain is a vital part of becoming ready. You are creating a place where your soul can grow without having to give up anything. By sticking to these rules, you make sure that the friendships you do make are real and not just passing fads. And this is the quiet strength of being alone. When the proper people come, you are ready. You don't get into partnerships out of need or desperation anymore. Instead, you do it from a place of strength, stability, and discernment. There is depth to conversations, support is mutual, and loyalty is earned, not just expected. What could have been lost in a sea of average relationships becomes stronger in this small, important group. So, not having friends isn't a hole to be afraid of. It's a filter. It protects your time, energy, and spirit. It shows that you care more about quality than quantity and virtue than convenience. The Stoics say that this is not being alone, it is being ready. You are not just getting by on your own, you are getting ready for a life with people who really matter. Number 10. You are redefining success. Most people think of success in terms of statistics, such how many friends you have, how popular you are, or how many people admire or follow you. Social approval becomes the measure of self-esteem. Marcus Aurelius, on the other hand, says, "What matters is not what happens to you, but how you respond to it." Real success is not something that happens outside of you, it happens within of you. It is the development of character, the control of the mind, and the capacity to act with integrity in any situation. You are not failing socially if you don't have friends. You are just picking a different way to assess success. You are changing what success means to you. You are not looking for acceptance. You are looking for advancement. You are not looking for praise. You are looking for wisdom. You are not filling your life with people who will only be around for a short time. Instead, you are filling it with a meaningful purpose and rigorous practice. Seneca put this idea into words in On the Happy Life. True happiness is to enjoy the present without worrying about the future. You free yourself from outside constraints and aversions when you stop being friends with people who don't matter. You no longer have to worry about impressing others or keeping up appearances, which frees up your energies. You can focus your mind and heart on what really matters: virtue, self-improvement, and finding peace inside yourself. Epictetus also says that things like people, money, and celebrity don't matter. What really important is how we use our choices and our reason. In this light, having a lot of friends or being popular doesn't signify much. When you choose to be alone on purpose, it can help you get better at something. You are learning how to be happy, capable, and fulfilled without needing other people's approval. People outside may think this new meaning of success is lonely. They could wonder why you don't go to every social event, why your group is small, or why you seem aloof. But their measure is based on what is normal, not what is wise. You're playing a separate game. You are building a life that is deeper than likes, invitations, or short bursts of attention. When you choose to be alone instead of with shallow people, you make sure that when you make real connections, get recognition, or achieve something, it's because of your hard work and virtue, not just because of chance or social convenience. You are leaving behind a legacy of strength, character, and skill. This is the kind of success that lasts long after trends pass. People move on and crowds break apart. Simply put, not having friends isn't a bad thing. It's a sign that you're putting what's most important first. You are judging your life by how much you grow, how wise you are, and how at ease you feel, not by how much other people like you. And by doing this, you have found a freedom, strength, and clarity that most others will never have. What does it truly mean to not have any friends? It signifies you are no longer following dreams. You have learned to be strong on your own, welcomed being alone, and found your own strength. People may feel sorry for you, but you know the truth. Being alone is not a sign of weakness, it is the path to greatness. The Stoics lived by this, and their wisdom shows that it is still true today. Not having friends doesn't make you empty, it makes you strong.